The next petition card is Mr. Sapp, and it looks like neither, I mean, you can speak on both of them while you're up here, it looks like, because, yeah, just go ahead. Because you're not really reviewing our minutes, so, are you?
Yes, ma'am. Very possibly. I may not need, if I don't need all the time, I'll do it all here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Jesse Sapp. Guys, we have a lot of rules we have to follow. A lot of rules from the school board makes rules that we all have to follow as parents, as community members. When we come here, we have rules to follow. Every time we come here, we have rules to follow. The speaker cards, we got rules to follow. The time limit, you name it, we got rules to follow. I have some rules to read tonight that the school board is not following, and the superintendent's not following, and the district's not following. I'm going to start off with one I've already read before. It comes from the Government and the Sunshine Manual. A knowing violation of the Sunshine Law is a misdemeanor of the second degree. Sunshine Law is serious business because there's criminal liability for officials who knowingly disregard it. Florida Statute 1001.42, subsection 15, enforcement of law and rules require that, excuse me, it's too far in there to read, require that all laws and rules of the State Board of Education or the district school board are properly enforced. Your policy PO 2220, adoption of courses of study. The board shall periodically adopt courses of study. The superintendent shall recommend to the board such courses of study as are deemed to be in the best interest of the students. I read that as the board has to hear what the course of study is going to be and approve it. That's how I read it, and I think that's how it's written. Last week, my kid, my middle school 8th grader, a 13-year-old boy, he's wild. He sat through 3 days of courses. I found out about this Sunday. He sat through all 3 days without me knowing. It was taught in I believe it was a history class. It was a history teacher, I believe, who taught the courses over 3 days. I don't even want to mention what the topic was because I've had some run-ins with it, and it's a touchy subject. But the subject was suicide. These courses were not approved by the board. I'm not spreading misinformation, by the way. This is coming from my son. This is coming from people that I know. We just went through almost a whole year of this same thing, over, actually we've been through 6 years of it apparently, over the sex ed curriculum, and now here we are back again to the same thing. No, I didn't receive a letter. I didn't receive an email. I've watched the Facebook page at the middle school. Nothing was said, period, about, hey, we're going to have these classes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Be sure and talk to your kid afterwards about what they learned. I talked to my kid Sunday after I found out about it, about what he learned and what he took away from it. I don't know what was taught there because the videos are not online. They're not linked to the school board's website. They're nowhere to be found as far as I'm concerned. So I talked to my kid and I said, hey, buddy, what'd you take from that? And I'm not going to repeat it here because it upset me. I'm mad. I'm very mad about it. I am the one who talks to my kid about those kinds of things. I don't allow the school system to tell. If you would have said, hey, we're going to have these classes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I would have said, you know what, you're staying home, buddy, because I talk to my kids about that. We talk about it as a family, and we talk about what's happened to other people whenever these things come up, and how you take your mental health into your own hands, and you come talk to your parents about it. You don't talk about it in school. We don't talk about it in school. We don't talk about it to anybody. You come to your parents and talk about it. And when I have to talk to my kid after he spent 3 days in classes learning about, and I'm not even going to say it again, I was very upset about what he took away from the class. And for it not to be taught by a mental health professional, number one, is obviously ridiculous. Number two, the teacher that taught it, I have a great relationship with him. He's a nice guy. We talk a lot about my kid being wild. He never called me. I don't think he knew that he wasn't supposed to be, that he would offend anybody by teaching it. I don't blame him a bit. He's a great teacher. When I tried to talk to the principal about it, crickets.
30 seconds, sir.
Public records request, crickets. I said, I want to see everything that was written. I want to see everything that my son saw. Crickets. If he would have called me the next morning and said, can you come in here and meet with me? I wouldn't be standing here in front of you today. I'd be going to look and see what was there and try to figure out a better way, but there's not a better way than this. Guys, something needs to be done about this, and it needs to stop today until you guys see what they're teaching. Thank you for my 5 minutes.